Hi everyone, welcome to one of the most confusingly titled videos I think I've done. I'm going to talk today about old Gamboge, old new Gamboge and new Gamboge. Confused? Hopefully this will clarify it. Gamboge, many of you will know, is a warm yellow, and originally it was a natural pigment, so it begins with NY rather than PY, and it was extracted from trees in the genus Garcinia. This is a tree that grows in the Far East and Middle East, and when the trees get to a certain age, they would drain the sap from them and process this sap and end up with this yellow pigment. And that was used for many years for doing things like dyeing the gowns of Buddhist monks are dyed with Gamboge, and for painting it was used in all sorts of illuminated lettering in the Middle Ages, but it's hellishly fugitive. It works fine in closed books when you're doing illuminated lettering, but it doesn't work for paintings you want to hang on the wall. So cut forward many years, and chemists started developing dyes in the 1800s, synthetic dyes, diazonium dyes, azo dyes as they're commonly termed, and they came up with a mixture or individual pigments that could mimic the colour of Gamboge, just as they did for many other things, like mauve, the synthetic dye, was used to mimic Tyrian purple, which was the really expensive dye made from, I think, a periwinkle or something like that, that the Roman emperor's robes were dyed with. So anyway, new Gamboge came about, or permanent Gamboge as some manufacturers call it, and what that is a synthetic recreation of Gamboge. Now, Winsor & Newton's current Gamboge they have on sale, their new Gamboge at the moment, is this one here. Let me just get that in focus for you. And it's reasonably warm, but I find it a bit too brown. That's one thing that I don't like about it. But it hasn't always been this way, because Winsor & Newton used to sell a much nicer new Gamboge. So, what they currently sell is a mixture of two pigments, and this is pretty common across all manufacturers. They all sell 2 or 3 pigments together, or 2 or 3 dyes together to make their new Gamboge. And what Winsor & Newton currently use is a mixture of pigment yellow 150, which is Nickel Dioxime Yellow, and they also mix it with pigment red 209, which is one of the Quinacridone reds, and that's why it ends up a bit brown, because you've got this orangey yellow mixing it with a kind of cool red, and you end up with this slight muddiness to it, and I really don't like it. I find that really difficult to paint with. So what I've started using instead, which I know many people do, is Winsor & Newton's 653 transparent yellow, which is the pigment yellow 150 used in new Gamboge, Nickel Dioxime Yellow, on its own. So you get it without that kind of muddiness, and if I can show you, this is new Gamboge here, and this is the transparent yellow on its own. So that's it, single pigment. That's it with Quin Red. So you got that slight muddiness to it that I just really find annoying. And I also find this one, I think, actually flows a little bit better. These are really rough swatches. This is just my yellow swatches that I keep, just so that if I'm not sure what yellow to use, this is easier to look at than looking at the blocks of paint. So today I was really lucky. I picked up this half pan of new Gamboge by Winsor & Newton, as I just happened to spot it. And what's really cool about it is it's the old formulation before they changed it. I haven't seen this in a really long time. So this was made with pigment yellow 153, which is nickel dioxime complex. It's another nickel pigment. There are quite a lot of nickel pigments that are yellow. You've got lemon yellow nickel titanate, which is a mineral pigment, a rutile. And then you've got nickel dyes, so dyes that have got nickel complex within them. So I'm going to try out for you this now. I'm going to swatch it out, and we'll have a look at how old new Gamboge compares with new Gamboge. And just if any of you are interested in old Gamboge, the tree extract, Pip Seymour's line of watercolours does include a set of watercolours called something like maybe the Turner series or something like that. I'll put a still slide into the video around here to tell you what it's called, but they have a genuine Gamboge. So if you really want to try the original, it is really fugitive, but do try it. They have a beautiful line of paints at Pip Seymour for watercolour, where you can get genuine lapis lazuli ultramarine and things like that. Hellishly expensive, but really beautiful. And what Pip Seymour has that I really like in their acrylic range and their watercolours are all these paints made from all sorts of different types of mud and different types of stone. So you can get really subtle green greys and green browns and like blue ochre rather than yellow ochre. Loads and loads of colours. So well worth giving them a try. There's a little shout out to Pip Seymour there, and I hope to review some of their products soon. I've asked them multiple times if they would give me some review samples. Nothing's been forthcoming, and that's really disappointing because most companies are really willing to just give you a spot card so you can just review their products. But you know, if they don't feel they need reviews, fuck them, quite frankly. I'll still buy their stuff, but I'm not going to promote them for free at their prices. I wouldn't mind if they were reasonably priced. So here endeth this rant. Time to try old new Gamboge. Okay, done. I've painted a quick swatch a bit, and I will be including this in my Yellows 2 video that's going to be coming up really soon. I have written on it old recipe so I don't accidentally use it all up by mistake. But let's just compare again. So this is the new Gamboge as they sell it now, and this is it in the original formulation. Now okay, it's wet, but what you can see quite clearly is it's a nice clean warm yellow. You don't have that slight mudding that you now get. It reminds me a lot of a cad yellow or aurora yellow in terms of its tone, but it doesn't have the opacity. So if you get the opportunity to buy old new Gamboge, you may find it better. I would say a good alternative is just transparent yellow 653, or if you can find any paints in other lines that are single pigment nickel dioxime yellow, pigment yellow 153, buy those, because I think they are a lot better than Winsor Newton's current new Gamboge, which is 267. This old one is still 267. It was a reformulation, so it doesn't have a different code. I don't know whether they changed it for cost reasons or whether they were trying to get a better colour. Screwed up there, guys. I think it was a lot better in its original formulation, I have to say. So thanks very much and good evening.